Am I audible, people?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Good evening, all. Let's wait for a few minutes before we start. Let's wait for a couple of minutes. Rohit will be joining shortly. So, good evening, all. Very good evening. So today we'll actually have a look at what sort of questions you might get for your exam on February 20th. You have a quiz on 20th. So let's see what kind of questions you might get. This might give you a good idea of what sort of questions to expect. And we'll just go through some questions and look at different questions that we have. We might have multiple choice questions. Then you might have some true or false questions, some questions that are based on very simple programming. Everyone, please mute your microphones. I think I could hear someone.
I just wanted to ask.
Yeah.
You just said programming, so we have to program the questions, or this will be MCQ based?
No, these are all MCQ questions. So you'll be given a code block as option A, B, C, D. So you'll be given code blocks. You don't have to program anything. It's all MCQ questions. So I'll just show you. We'll just have a look at those questions, and then you can actually proceed with asking your doubts. Is that fine? So I'll share my screen. Yeah. So is my screen visible?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Yeah. So this is one sort of question. Let's just see what this question is. So it says that your project requires you to monitor oil prices on a daily basis. You have the URL that provides the daily oil prices. Choose the most appropriate option that enables you to scrape the required data from the URL into Excel. So just a basic context that you are supposed to monitor oil prices and then scrap the oil prices on a daily basis. So which among the following options would be the most appropriate option? How do you go about scraping the data? So this is purely, you can see that it is based on your scraping exercise from Excel. So let's see. How do we go about answering this question? But before that, let's see what are the answers that you can come up with. So if you know what the answer is, can you please post it in the chat? Let's see if you're able to solve this. Okay, we see everyone is posting option D.
So quick question.
Yeah.
Heading says week 1 to 3. Would that be the syllabus for this exam then? 1 to 3?
I didn't get you. Could you please come again?
It says mock questions midterm week 1
to
3.
Yeah.
So we only have weeks 1 to 3 in this
exam. Yeah, week 1 to 3. Yeah. This this
right.
quiz is only based on week 1 to 3.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I think everyone got the right answer. A very simple question. So this is one form of question that you might get.
Sir, question regarding this only.
Yeah.
Sir, are we allowed to open Excel in a different tab and just check the names of the tools, like from other sources or from sources? Like, just to clarify this, it's from the name of the tab which we are going to click.
Actually, that's
do this.
Actually, that's the whole point. You can definitely do that. So it's an open book quiz. The whole point is, even if you don't know the answer, you can, it's a trial and error where you can check out each options as well.
Yeah, everything is open to you.
Because you need not memorize any of the things. That's the whole objective, because that is not what we are checking here. I mean, even for us, we don't know like if this is the answer. We'll just go do a trial and error only, in fact, to be frank.
But so during the exam, generally we are not allowed to or go to other websites, and it gives us a warning whenever we do that. So I'm not sure if that is okay to do. I mean, has the admin team been communicated about this, that we will be allowed to do so?
Yes, they have been communicated. Yeah, you will be allowed to use, it's an open book. You will be allowed to use other tabs, open books. You can search through Google. You can do anything.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Yeah.
Also, sir, just
Yeah.
one last question. So we were taught some basic codes. We were referred to some basic codes, right, in weeks 1 to 3.
Yeah.
So do we have to learn those codes since it's an MCQ type? We will have to see some codes and everything, right? Do we have to learn those codes for this exam, or what will it be?
Definitely you'll have to know what the code does, because you must have programmed, you must have done the exercises, you must have seen the videos, right? So you need to know how the code works. You don't have to memorize it though, because anyway it's an open book test, right? So if you have any doubt in the code syntax or format, you can go to Google and search for the syntax and format.
Okay, okay, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
So shall we move on to the next question? Okay, so the first one was pretty easy. I think everyone got it. Now the next one. Okay, so a study measures poverty using many indicators such as income, consumption, and illiteracy levels. So low income, consumption, and illiteracy levels are a challenge for any nation. Which among the following settings will help you filter countries with highest poverty based on income? So you're doing a study which measures poverty using various indicators such as income, consumption, illiteracy levels. And these indicators are actually there, and because poverty is a challenge, so we might want these indicators to be at the lowest. You would want less number of people having low income, less number of people having low consumption, and less number of people having very less illiteracy levels. So these are challenges for any nation. So which among these following settings will help you filter countries with the highest poverty based on income? So there are two settings here. This is the first setting. The setting, do you know where you find the setting? Any guesses?
Conditional formatting.
Yeah.
Conditional formatting.
Yeah, good. And so you have two options available here. And specifically in conditional formatting, there are two types of conditional. In terms of color scales, you have two types of color scales, right? In conditional formatting, you have color scales, and this is specific to color scales in Excel. You must have come across a video which talks about data aggregation in Excel, right? I think you remember that. So this is based on color scales. So there are two settings here, A and B. Which setting do you think would help you filter the countries with the highest poverty based on income? Your options, please. Your answers. Option A or B. So I'll just show the question again.
B.
A.
So this is the first setting, A, and the second setting, B.
B.
Okay, we have some people saying B, but many posting A also here. Okay, so the ones who posted A, could you please tell me why it is A? Anyone?
Sir, so we basically will form clusters, right?
Okay.
When we do the conditional formatting.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I remember learning this from one of the videos.
Okay.
The higher the value, we use the darker color. We use red for the higher values, I guess.
You want the higher values to have red, is it?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Easier
Okay.
to spot them, I think, something like that. I don't
So the
remember.
thing is that here you have another line that is mentioned here saying that low income, consumption, illiteracy levels are a challenge for any nation. So these things, low income, consumption, less number of consumption, illiteracy, these are all undesirable things. Okay. So when these values are low, and you're also looking for the countries with the highest poverty. So higher the value, so you'll have a list of countries here, and the countries with the highest poverty level. But the thing that we are looking at three indicators. and we are using only income level as the indicator here. So we have 3 indicators, but we are considering only low income as the indicator for measuring highest poverty, right? So if you look at low income, you will see countries with the lowest income at the top, and then countries with the highest income at the bottom. Okay, because that is how this color scales. That is how this color scales will arrange it. The lowest income at the top and the highest income at the bottom. And here, what is undesirable is low income undesirable or high income undesirable?
Low income.
Low income is undesirable. And in this color scale, would you actually give green for an undesirable value or red for an undesirable value?
Red.
Red, right? So if that is how we are reasoning this question, then what do you think would be the right option, A or B?
B.
B, right? So B is the correct option here.
Sir, I would like to add one more thing. Sir, generally the red color is used to indicate the value which is like critical or alarming.
True. Yeah.
So that makes more sense.
That's right. Red is something, it is undesirable, it is very critical. So that is what we don't want. Right.
Yeah, to highlight that we need to see over it, or that's important to see.
Yeah. That is something that is it's critical. It tells you, okay, you'll have to look into this region. Why is this region red? So in that case, we use the option B. Okay.
But sir, if your sorting is done in the opposite order, then you can say the rate can also come down, right? Because you have not mentioned that sorting has done by the highest income or the lowest income, right?
No. Here, see, in this option, in these two options, you have the type. I think, is this my cursor visible? So the type is minimum lowest value, which gets green color.
Okay.
Yeah. So the sorting is also here.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Sir, I have a question. It's not related to this question. So when you say the exam is open book, does that mean we are allowed to access course materials during the exam?
Course materials, yeah, you will have access to course materials. Yeah, you can, because it is open book, you can actually visit any website.
All right, sir. Thank you.
Okay. So the third question, this is.
I don't think the course material would be available because the portal would be closed while the exam is on. That's what generally happens.
Yeah, sir. Yes. Be closed, is it? Okay, I'll have to check that with admin then.
Would be closed.
So it will be closed.
Okay.
This is by default. They'll block it for when any exam is going on.
Is it even if it is an open book exam?
Yes. As long as you are entering the test in the portal itself.
Okay.
As long as the test is taking place on the Seek portal.
Okay.
All courses are typically blocked.
But I guess this is new.
No. I think
this is new.
Yeah. I think this has to be clarified. We'll actually clarify it again with the admin team and post it tomorrow. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Sure.
Because just to clarify, guys, we did inform the admin that it's going to be an open book exam. The expectation being you will be having access to basically the entire internet. So anyway, we'll just confirm with the admin team if it is possible in this portal. We'll just confirm in it by tomorrow.
So the reason why we asked is that because even if we don't have an exam, sometimes even then the portal is locked for us to access. So since it is an exam for us, I don't think it will be open.
Sure.
We'll clarify it with admin team. I think they might be the ones who are the right people to answer this question, right?
Yes, sir.
We'll check with the admin team and we'll post it tomorrow in discourse. Would that be fine?
Yeah, that will be fine, sir.
Okay. Thank you. So I think let's move on to the third question. True or false? Very simple, I think. Beautiful Soup library makes it easy for developers to locate the coordinates of addresses, cities, countries, etc. True or false?
True.
False.
Please post your answers. I can also hear true. I hear false. Okay. So the majority seems to be false. Any so where did we actually use the Beautiful Soup? Any guesses?
Web scraping.
Web scraping.
It's used for web scraping.
True. That's right.
Parceling website.
Yeah. So to locate the coordinates of addresses, cities, and countries, that we use GeoPy, right?
Geocoding.
Yeah.
Yes,
So Beautiful
yes,
Soup
sir.
is not used to locate coordinate. It is used for web scraping. So this is false. Then let's look at question 4. So the following code block. So this is another type of question that you'll get, where we'll give you a small code block, which might have some blanks or which might have some missing lines. You don't have to memorize anything because anyway, the internet is open to you. So we'll give you a small code block, and based on that, you'll have to answer. So the question is, the following code block gets you the latitude and longitude of the required location. One of the blanks in the code block takes the location as input. Choose the most appropriate blank where one needs to provide the location to get its latitude and longitude. Please read the question again if you want. I'll give you a minute. So let's move on to the code block. These are the 3 lines. So where do you think you need to give the location? Is it in blank A, blank B, or blank C? Which option? A, B, or C? You can post your answers. Okay. Everyone seems to be posting B. You seem to have grown confident in answering these questions. Okay. So majority B. I think almost everyone is B. Great. So that is the answer. So this is where you will have to post your location. So if you want to get the geocode of IIT Madras, you'll have to post the location IIT Madras here and not in blank A or in blank C. So we have please clarify. So I think you would have come across the code, right? So it says that nominatum user agent. Here you will have to give a user agent, any random stuff here. You'll have, each one has to give a different user agent. We were also facing some problems earlier because everyone seemed to give the same user agent and there was some kind of issues going on. This is not where you give the location. And here locator.geocode, within quotes, you give the location. If you want to get the geocode, that is the latitude or longitude of Chennai, you give Chennai. Latitude or longitude of Delhi, you give Delhi here. So this is the blank where you give the location. And finally, this is just for formatting. You print the latitude and longitude here. So B is the blank. B is the right option. Lecture 2.2. Wow. So someone has the lecture also available. So this was there in lecture 2.2. Divan says to everyone, thanks Divan. So if you have any doubts, please go back to lecture 2.2 and have a look at this code. Okay, so this was one type of question that you might get. And then question number 5, name an Excel feature that helps in data aggregation. Name an Excel feature that helps in data aggregation. Is it A, Azure ML, B, bar chart, C, conditional formatting, D, pivot tables? So please post your answers. D. So everyone seems to be giving D. Someone has given C. So I think most of you have given the answer as D. B, C, D all look right. Okay, why is that? Can we have a reasoning for that? Why does B, C, and D all look right?
So in some way or the other, we use each one of those to kind of aggregate the data.
Yeah, kind of. But what would you do you think would be the most suitable answer here?
I mean, my mind says it is pivot tables, but I kind
Okay.
of see, I mean, it's confusing between all the three of
So
them.
so bar chart is something that you use to actually present the frequency, right? So in x-axis you have any value,
yeah,
A, B, C, some cities. Maybe you're looking at population for different cities. So you have city A, Chennai, Delhi, Mumbai, and in the y-axis you have the population.
yeah.
So that is what bar chart is, a chart that gives you a visualization of the frequency of the data for different cities. So there is no data aggregation there.
Okay.
You can cancel that out.
Okay.
Conditional, yeah.
No, I don't think so. I think I agree with her. We do use
Okay.
bar charts to make a summary aggregation. Stacked bar charts, they're very commonly used.
No, of course, they are commonly used. They might be used in a later on step. So you would directly wouldn't use bar chart to give a data aggregation, right? So further down.
Many times, if I have results of the students for quiz 1,
okay,
I would not send a pivot table to somebody, my senior. I would send a bar chart.
No.
This is the aggregated results performance of the students in quiz 1.
Okay. No, that is not the what I mean by data aggregation. So I think you would have come across the lecture, right? The Excel lecture. There you actually came across different features for data aggregation. We used color scales, then we used data bars, and then we used pivot tables there.
I think the point here is that the options B and C only do one type of aggregation. Pivot tables can do all types of aggregation.
Yeah, good point. Good point.
Yes, yes.
So by data aggregation, no, what do we mean by data aggregation? Data aggregation is a form of summing things up, right? You're aggregating data, you're summing things up. If you want to sum them, you can either average them, and you can. So what are the other forms of data aggregation that we saw? There was summing one, data, then
mean, average, max,
mean,
whatever.
average. Yeah, those are all different forms of data aggregation.
All of them are available in bar chart.
Also,
All of those features are there in the bar chart. Maximum, minimum, mean, trend line, everything's available in bar chart.
Bar? Yeah. No, trend line is not a form of data aggregation.
Yeah, it's there, sir. It's trend line is also, there's also a graphical trend line available in the chart, sir.
You know, it is available in the chart, but is trend line a form of data aggregation? By data aggregation, I mean summing up the data.
I can also show the data table in the bar chart. There's an option to include the data table, include the legends. All of them are there.
Okay, see. Okay, let's not get into the.
Okay, let's not. All right, fine. Let's move on.
Labels and all. We're not talking about labels here. I'm just talking about data aggregation, and I think most of you got the answer right. In our lectures that we saw three forms of data aggregation. We looked at color scales. We looked at data bars. We looked at pivot tables. And based on that, we can actually discuss, we can argue about different forms of data aggregation that we use. It could come in further down the line. So first you might use Azure ML here. Azure ML was used for sentiment analysis, right? So then you can say, I first use Azure ML, then I'll do a pivot table based on that, and then I'll get some kind of an aggregation. So if we were to make a case, we can say that any of these options can actually give us some kind of a data aggregated value. But that is not the point here. Which feature of Excel, when you first have a look, people don't use bar chart for data aggregation. People use bar chart for visualization of their results. People use Azure ML for sentiment analysis. So when you look at one option, which is the first thing that actually strikes your mind? That is what we're looking at here. Okay, so based on that, we can say that pivot tables is the answer. When you think about data aggregation, when you think about pivot tables, what comes to your mind? Data aggregation. That is what comes to your mind. So that is why we give pivot tables as the answer for data aggregation. So when you provide your answers, even in the exam, I would say look at it in terms of the questions that you got in this course. So you might have gone through different lectures. So please have an idea of what was taught in the course and try to answer it based on that. So that is, in that way, we can actually limit the scope of the exam. Otherwise, there is no limit to what answers you can give.
You could also add the most appropriate answer in the question.
Sure. Yeah, that is how you will actually get. The most suitable answer or the most appropriate answer that will be there in the question.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. So moving on to question 6. So
shall I take it forward?
Yeah, Rohit.
Yeah.
Thanks, Rohit. Thank you.
Yes. Can I share my screen?
Yeah, please. I'll just stop sharing my screen.
Okay, I think you can only share the screen because
is
host
it?
is only enabled, or you have to enable me otherwise.
Okay.
If you there's a way to go ahead, that's fine.
Can we check
Were
with
you able
Narayanan?
to-
Are you able to?
Okay, no issues. No,
Okay.
I'm not able to. You can share the screen. We can
Okay.
just read the question from your screen.
Okay, I'm sharing. Is my screen visible, Rohit?
Yeah, it is visible.
Okay.
Yeah. So the sixth question is Wikipedia Python library is there to access and pass data from Wikipedia. Now, to get the first two summary lines of any topic, let's say for this question, data science, which is the most appropriate answer? Kindly give your answers in the chat box. So I see many initially B, D, D, D. Okay. Looks like D. Okay. Okay. I think most of you got the answer right. It's D. The function that is used to get the summary is dot summary function, and WK is nothing but short form, import Wikipedia as WK. And the parameters sentences, which takes integer argument where you tell the number of sentences you need or the number of lines you need. So sentence is equal to 2 is the right answer. So the correct answer is option D. Okay. So can we go to the next question, Dixon? Can you scroll down?
Yeah, Rohit. Yeah.
Yes. Consider the following code. You would have seen how to do get post and how to use get request, post request using the request library in Python, mainly to extract data. So the response of a get request often has some valuable information, and what all information is available and in what all different ways we can access this information is the question. Can you show the options? Scroll down. Yeah. So the typical line in while using a request library is an variable that you have to store the results of the request library dot get and the URL, and here it is given as dot JSON. So if you don't give dot JSON and if you just give just like it, how will you get it, and what all different uh, variations of the same data can be expressed? So I'm seeing, okay, dot JSON returns a dictionary. Okay. My question now is it the only way to get the data?
No, I think option B is not correct. Dot
No,
JSON is
I'm telling
not
for dot
necessary.
JSON. No, dot JSON, it is correct. But I'm asking you, is it the only way to get all the data?
No.
No.
Good, good. Yeah. So response dot content will give all the results in bytes format, and dot JSON, as you told, it gives in a dictionary format or a JSON object format. Both are same. Dot text will give
No,
in the text format.
this is actually, sir, this is where I have a question.
Yeah.
It's not necessary that JSON will be a dictionary. It could be an array. It could be just a string or even a boolean. It can be anything.
No. The syntax for a JSON object is a key value pair. It cannot be an array. A JSON object is not complete if it's not a key value pair. And by definition in Python, any key value pair is a dictionary object, correct?
But true, but I can have a server which is giving a JSON array as the response instead of a JSON dictionary, JSON object.
No. The most elemental object is a JSON. It can be array of JSON. It can be anything. The most elemental object is JSON. And that's how all web requests happens. because in a single web request, you'll get multiple attributes. If you have seen in the lecture, you will get, let's say, if you are doing some BBC weather, your get request for a BBC weather link, you will probably get different temperature and humidity and all those different attributes in a single JSON object. So the most elemental object is a dictionary. It can be multiple JSON objects in a single file. It is possible, but the most elemental object is a JSON object. Is the answer clear?
So if it is, what if it is an array of numbers or something? That is not JSON?
No, the output is never in just an array. It is never open square bracket 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is never that way. It will be either. So if the output is actually that, it will be telling. So curly brackets open, you'll have some key, colon, and then you'll have this array, and curly brackets close. It will be always within curly brackets.
Okay. I see. Okay.
Sir, I have a question before we can proceed further. May I ask it?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Sir, I see there is a lot of mayhem about this all online exam and the open book system, because the administrative guidelines and the course support guidelines of online exams seem to contradict each other. Like we have been told, or we have given online exams for before. We have to switch on the web camera, and the mobile phone has to be positioned on a certain angle. And you're saying that it's an open book, we can move, we can access the web. So could you please clear all these intricacies with the course support team and
we
post it
will
on
definitely
Discourse?
do that after this live session. We will make sure that we clearly communicate it to the administrative team, and also follow back with you with a separate Discourse post.
Yes, sir. Regarding those
yes.
Gmeet webcams and all of that is surrounding
yes. The environment in which you are going to take the exam, everything will be explicitly informed to you through mail or through Discourse.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Sir, I have a doubt here. Sir, in this question, instead of JSON, if I write a text, that is when I get a string object, right?
Yes.
And if I don't mention anything,
if you don't write anything, it is a byte object. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Sir. Thank you.
Can you go down? So yeah, you would have used OpenRefine to remove some human errors that are performed in the data while data collection process. And you would have come across clustering entities. And in the course video, we would have shown an example of clustering entities that are in text format. And if in that, there is an algorithm called as key collision to perform clustering. And what is our logic under which key collision works is the question. You can give the answers. So option A is about that key collision compares two texts by just removing special characters. Next is removing special characters and then converting all them to lowercase. And then third is just converting to lowercase, and fourth is none of the above. So everyone till now says B. Okay. Everyone seems to be confident in this question. Okay, good. Yes, the right answer is B. First, key collision removes special characters and then converts everything to lowercase, and then sees if two strings are 100% match, and if they're 100% match, they're put in a single cluster. Yes. And since it's a very strong rule of exact match, it is a very stringent algorithm, which is also mentioned in the video. Okay, can we go to the next question? Yes. So while doing Pandas profiling, given in any data set, you will generate a report, usually a PDF or an HTML file, which can be viewed in a browser, correct? Now at the bottom of the Jaidev, we'll do that after the completing questions, I guess.
Sure, sir. This is just a counter example, actually. It returns an array of integers, which is a valid JSON. Anyway, we can come back to that.
Okay, we'll look into that. Sure. And while generating reports using Pandas profiling, you'll get aggregate level information like number of missing points and so on. And at the bottom, you'll also see correlations. Now, question is, how many different types of correlations are present in the report? And while doing Pandas profiling.
So could you scroll the active question to the middle of the page?
Yeah, yes, please. Yes. Is it better now?
Yes, sir. The overlays for hiding it at the bottom.
Okay. So the options are 2, 4, 5, and 6. Is the question clear? Because I don't see any answers. Or is it not that everyone could remember? Okay, I see. Okay. Okay. Yes, most of them are telling C. So yes, the correct answer is C. So can somebody tell me what are the 5 correlations that are present in the report? Probably bonus points. What?
Pearson's correlation, Spearman's, Kendall's, Fick,
Correct.
Kramer's.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. And okay. And correlations are correlations bounded quantity or unbounded quantities? Meaning, do they always lie within a range or not?
Bounded quantity.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll come to the last question of the smart questions. In Excel sheet, let's say there exists a column called as application underscore date that contains dates in DD, MM, YY format. And for some aggregation process, you just need to know which month of the year it is. And how will you perform this? What is a formula that you need to put in the new column to have? So everyone seems to tell B, some A. Yeah, I guess everyone was able to tell the right answer. Yes, the right answer is B. Since we told first three characters, it is just triple M. Okay. Yeah. So I think, yes, that's all we have questions.
Yeah, one thing I would like to add here, Rohit. So
yeah.
So you might have seen all these questions, and I would just request you to keep 2 things in mind when you answer these questions. One is to keep the scope of this course under consideration. So we had few doubts about JSON, and then before that on the formatting color scales. So first, please keep the scope of the course in mind. And second, I would request you not to make more assumptions than that is given in the question. So the question itself will have some assumptions. If those assumptions are not taken into consideration, please don't make your own assumptions. Just keep the scope of the course in mind and just look at the question and directly give an answer. Let's not make assumptions ourselves and try to give answers based on our assumptions. So please keep these 2 things in mind before you answer these questions. You might be able to get the right answers.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, approximately how many questions will be there in the exam?
In the exam, you'll have 25 questions.
And how long, sir?
I think it is a 90-minute exam, but we will confirm it and put it in the discourse.
Okay.
So since we can visit any site, is it also allowed to open up a terminal and start Python and run experiments there itself?
Yes, of course, of course.
Okay.
So are we allowed to get in touch with our classmates in WhatsApp or something?
That is something I would not answer.
So is that a yes? Can I take that as a yes?
I don't know. I'm not going to answer that.
So it's not a no, at least.
It's not an yes too.
So,
Try it
I
out.
would
We'll
like to
find
take
out
it
after
in
the
a
exam.
positive way.
See, I don't know. I don't know if Google is faster. You can use Google. That's up to you.
No, sir, Google cannot be faster than our classmates.
Oh, is it? Okay. I like the confidence, and I think you'll definitely perform really well this time. I hope this quiz gave you some actually insight into
Yes, sir, it
what
definitely
the
helped a lot.
yeah.
Definitely.
And I would like to reiterate the fact that these questions are similar to your graded assignment questions. So if you have a good practice with your graded assignments, these questions are similar to that, and the quiz questions are also similar to your graded assignment questions. So I'm pretty sure you do really well. You have been doing well in this course.
These questions we didn't have to Google for any of them. So can we expect similar questions, or would it be a one notch higher?
You can expect similar questions, and also you cannot have all questions as easy as these. One or two questions are might be at a higher level. Okay. So for that you might have to use your Google, but you'll do well. I think based on the answers and responses that we got based on this session, I can clearly see that.
Okay, sir. Yeah, thank you.
So Rohit, do you have anything else to add here?
Sir, I have one point to add here. Sorry to interrupt. Can we have such kind of sessions every week probably, so that will give us an insight on what exactly are we supposed to prepare?
Sure. For the upcoming exams.
An actual question paper, right? No. If we have a sample question paper every week, we'll not have enough questions for the actual exam, right?
Good point, Debo. Yeah. Yeah. We'll have to keep generating new questions, and I don't know how long we'll be able to do that.
Yeah.
But that helps us practice, actually. This was very good.
So to answer your question, Sunita, we for the programming or the project-based questions, where you'll be given a data set and you'll be asked to do some analysis and then give the results for some questions that are followed over the data set. We will try to do an example, or we'll try to conduct one live session for that.
Okay, sir. Yeah.
So one more thing, sir, can we have a code along session like we did in the Python for the week 6 especially? Because in week 6 there are a lot of codes, and in the video the codes were already loaded and then explanation was done.
Okay.
Am I audible, sir?
Yeah, you're audible.
So if we can have code along session, then it will be help us.
So for the mock programming assignment questions, we'll have some amount of coding because of in the live session, because we'll be giving a data set and then showing how to do both with a coding tool and both with a non-coding tool, whichever is easiest to answer the questions. So that is possible, but I'm not sure we can do it for week specific, like you asked, for week 6 especially. I'm not sure how much is that.
In week 6 there was a lot of coding for the Python.
Okay, we will consider it and we will let you know.
For the classification and the clustering.
No, I think as Rohit mentioned, we'll be having a live session, right? That in which you'll have to solve a project. So that actually would involve part of coding, a type of session coding, in which you will be coding and you will be coding. So that is a similar type of request I think you're making.
Yes.
Yeah, that will be a much more better way of looking at the work than looking at a particular lecture and coding on that, right? So if you are shown how to code and solve a project, that is much more better than just looking at one lecture and looking at the code of that lecture. So I think we'll, in the next session, in the upcoming sessions, we'll actually have that type of a live session.
Yes, sir. My request was not to do the specific video or a specific lecture code along session.
Okay.
In general, approach for the coding.
Sure. That is what you'll actually come across in the.
That will be covered while doing the exam, the mock programming assignment itself.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Because we also have a project to do, and what you said will be helpful then.
Yeah, we'll take that into consideration. Yes.
Thank you, sir.
So the topic for the project will be announced by you, or we get to choose it?
Before the live session, we will forward you the data set and we will give the questions ahead.
All right.
So that you can work around
So
sometime.
also, how many days are we getting for the project?
No, it's like I'm not sure. Again, it is with respect to I have to confirm with the administrative team.
I think it's
We will
4
I think it's 4 days, right?
I think, yeah, you'll be given the code on the project on 23rd and you'll have to submit by 27th February.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
I saw. Yeah. Thanks for pointing it.
So the syllabus will be for the first 4 weeks, right? For this first quiz.
First 3 weeks.
Oh, okay. Thank you, sir.
Feb 20 exam is only for the first 3 weeks.
And the project could be anything, like all the 6 weeks, 7 weeks, whatever we have.
Yes, because it contains both. You can solve the questions using some coding options or non-coding options. So it is really your choice. So,
okay, sir.
Yeah.
So you'll be giving data set. That means that the scraping is not involved. We just get the data set and process that.
No. It will be mostly related towards analysis. We'll give you a data set and we'll ask a couple of questions like what is the minimum age over which there is at least 30% of people with this much income. Some convoluted analytical questions.
So it will be basic analytics based questions, right?
Hopefully, yes. There'll be both basic and advanced, but yes, there'll be a mix of both.
Okay, sir.
Yeah,
so we can do them in any of the software, like either Python or Excel or anything.
It is we are not constraining you to any specific tool.
Oh.
As long as you can get the right answer and as long as you're clear with the methodology, we don't worry whether it's a code or a non-code tool.
Okay, thank you.
Sir? Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, where can I get the recorded live session of Sunday, the Sunday session?
This live sessions.
No, he means I think the students' initiative, right? I think
Yes,
someone
sir.
has actually mentioned that
So
in the chat.
those we don't necessarily record them all the time. It depends on the quorum. But whichever are recorded, I'm sure they are there somewhere on somebody's drive or they are on YouTube. We'll share. Just watch discourse or I've mentioned my email address. Either me or Anand here.
Okay.
But discourse is where most of the planning and discussion happens. So just look out for that.
So is there any particular keyword that I can search in discourse so that I can get those links easily? Have you ever, do you have some keywords like that or?
No, just maybe go to the TDS forum within discourse. And
I think we have Sunita who actually mentioned that in the chat. The Google Meet link is there.
She already has the link. Yeah. That's correct. Yeah.
In the chat, you can see this link.
Typically, this is Sunday mornings, 11 a.m. But if there is some last minute change or whatever, depending on who is involved, typically we only get like 5 or 6 students every time. So depending on how many students we get when we probably move it around, but otherwise, unless otherwise specified, it's Sunday 11 a.m.
Okay, if there are no more questions, I think we can close the session. Rohit?
Yes, I think this session was useful for you, I guess.
Yeah.
And we will try to update it on the clarity on open book, open internet exam through discourse as soon as we get response from the administrative team. Yeah, I think we can conclude today's session. Thanks for joining.
Okay, well, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
Have a great weekend.
Thank you. This session really removed a lot of anxiety. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, actually, we'll
same here, yes.
Yeah, I could see you perform really well. You'll do well. Don't worry, guys.
Couldn't agree more.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Excuse me, sir. Do we still have
Yeah.
Sorry, sir, I have last question. Actually, I joined late. So I just want to understand the modus operandi of the exam, like how we can access the internet or all those things. Can we switch the examination portal, or how we can go ahead?
Oh yeah, Nishant, yeah, we actually had a detailed discussion of that in this thing, but there were some concerns regarding administrative privileges. We'll actually clarify that with the admin team, and we'll post that in Discourse tomorrow.
Can we have some kind of demo, kind of demo test for this? Like for demo or kind of mock test with the online video audio enable or something like that.
Okay, I'm not sure how feasible that is, but first let's check with the admin team. It depends on the complexity level, right? If it is too complex, then you might need a mock test. But if it is very simple, that doesn't require much work on your end, then we'll just go on with the main test. So I'll just check with the admin team tomorrow. We'll post the details in Discourse. And if it is really complex, we'll have a look at whether we need to give you a mock test or not.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. Are you uploading that questions to the portal so that we can see those questions, that mock questions which you?
Sure. That's a good idea. We'll upload that. We haven't considered that, but we'll upload these questions.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Naveen, one final thing is like also please verify whether there is a need of video monitoring also.
Thank you everyone. Thank you.